Hi guys, my name is Leslie, and this is the first episode to Leslie's True Crime Podcast, and my guest today is Tony.
Hello, what's up? How you guys doing?
So do I just start? Yeah.
Yeah, just go ahead. What topic do you have for me today?
Okay, so today we're talking about the Sarah Lawrence sex cult.
Okay, so I've never heard anything about that, but
Uh-huh.
you did talk about it, and you mentioned little bits of it,
Mhm.
previous like a couple days ago.
Mhm.
So I know a little bit, but I can definitely add on to what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just start with what was the Sarah Lawrence sex cult. So essentially it was just a dad who moved into a college dorm and took advantage of the students who were there, and it became this like weird like sex cult where he would like force them to have like sex with each other, and then like he would like beat them, and he would like give them like drugs, and he would like essentially make them believe that they owed him money.
So who's this guy named?
So this is Larry Ray, and he was born in 1959, and he grew up in Brooklyn, New York. So a little bit of Larry's like backstory, since it's like essential, because a lot of people believe that because of like what the environment that he grew up in, that's what like caused him to like do what he did, which is not an excuse, but that's what people believe. So growing up, he lived with his grandma and his grandpa, his mother, and his brother Carl. And there was like a very clear difference between him and Carl, and his whole family essentially.
So Carl's his brother, right?
Yeah, Carl's his younger brother. So essentially, like, it was known that Carl was the favorite child, and at some point, even his mom was like, "You ruined my life," and like because she had him really young. She had him when he was like 20 years old. So there was just a lot of hatred from him, and I mean his grandpa would like beat him and like sexually assault him, and like so would his grandma, and like his mom was like aware of like all of this.
So the grandpa would sexually assault all of the siblings?
No,
Or
just
all the-
him, just
Why
Larry,
him?
because they didn't like him.
Oh.
Yeah,
That sucks.
yeah, they just because like simply just because they didn't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they knew, and like they wouldn't stop it. Like they just hated him. Like that's just what it was. And I mean, like,
So he was like the black sheep of the family.
yeah, essentially that's even how he like would describe himself. He was like, I'm the black sheep of my family, and I feel like the odd one out. And I mean, like, he wasn't allowed to eat all the time. Like his pantry and like his fridge had like locks on them, so like he couldn't get into them. And
So he wouldn't know the password, but every single one in his family would know the
Yeah.
password?
like he just like he wasn't allowed to eat all the time, but like his sibling was able to, like Carl, he was like able to eat whenever he wanted.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it was like really bad. And like I mean, like his mom would always be like, oh, like Carl's so much better than you, like why aren't you like Carl, why aren't you like this, like why aren't you like that?
Yeah, that's definitely messes up with your brain.
Yeah. And one night Larry had fallen like ill, and he was like coughing. Obviously you're sick, you're coughing, you're sneezing, you're making a lot of noise. And essentially what had happened was that his grandma put him outside because, and this is like in Brooklyn, New York, it's cold, it's like the middle of winter, it's freezing cold, so they just like throw him outside and they just leave him there like all night because he was like making noise and he was waking up his grandpa.
What?
Yeah. And like Brooklyn gets probably colder than how we do
Oh,
in the
yeah, for
winter.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, New York is really cold over there.
Yeah.
They're by the ocean, so
Yeah, and then imagine you're like, what? He was like probably 19.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's barely a young adult getting
Yeah.
out to the world, and just over here getting treated like an animal.
Yeah, and that was like his breaking point. So he went to go live with his dad, and he enlisted in the army, but he only went for 19 days.
In the army?
Yeah.
Only survived 19 days?
He only survived 19 days. I don't even think that's like half of boot camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he decided it wasn't for him.
Yeah, and what makes matters worse is that after that, he went to go live back with his mother,
Okay.
even after everything that he was put through. So then, like, fast forward, he gets a job as what's it called? A broker at Wall Street. So
big
that's
job.
like a really hard job.
Yeah.
And mind you, he like doesn't have the education for it. So
Just
he
memorize.
like was able to convince his way and like snuggle his way in through like because people said like he was very charismatic. He was super charismatic. He just had a way with words, and he was very convincing.
So he pretty much fake
So,
it till he make it. That's what
basically,
he did.
so he ended up working in Wall Street, and he like told his mom, he was like, yeah, I'm like working in Wall Street, and guess how she responds?
What?
She's like, well, Carl's doing this, Carl's doing that, why can't you be more like Carl? And I'm doing this, so why can't you be like more like me or like your brother?
Yeah.
So it was just basically like a competition. And I mean, throughout his whole life, he felt like he was like competing with his mother and with her, like with her brother, his brother. So then he gets a job working for the FBI,
How the hell you
and
get in there? No back. I guess there at this point he was clean slate. There's
yeah, there's
nothing
like
on the
no
record.
bad record. And I mean, he built up his reputation by working in Wall Street. I mean, he was around a lot of powerful people, and again, like he really had a way with words, and he was very convincing, and he was really able to like push people's boundaries in order for them to like fall quickly to what he was saying and what he was doing. I mean, he had pictures with Bernard Kirk, who was like the chief commander of 9/11.
Wow.
And he again was able to get into the FBI, and while working for the FBI, he started working for the mafia.
What?
And yeah, which
out of
was like
nowhere.
so random. Yeah, he started working for the mafia, and what ended up happening is that like he started like giving information to both sides about like each other, so he ended up like double crossing them, and then he got caught, and then he got arrested and like put into jail.
How did he get caught?
So I think it was like he like had given the wrong information to like the FBI, and like the FBI obviously has people like watching their people, so I'm assuming that's how he got caught. There wasn't really much about it. It was just that he just got caught.
Yeah.
And then he ended up becoming an informant for the CIA for Russia.
For Russia. How did
For
he get into
Russia. I literally have no idea. Like, I'm telling you, he was just very charismatic, and again, he got caught doing some weird stuff again while he was an informant. So he's in and out of jail, and he has this like girlfriend on the side from his wife. And
Wait, so at this point he already has a family?
yeah, he has a family. He has 2 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's just pretty much living a double life.
he's literally just living a double life. And I mean, no one catches on. Again, he's a great liar, he's a great manipulator. And again, he's living this double life. No one notices. And Talia, his daughter, is like the main like victim of this story here. He's able to brainwash her from like a really young age, and this is like a perfect example of how. So his wife finds out that he's been cheating on her with this girlfriend that he has, that he's been pimping out.
Yeah. Pimping out.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
like been pimping her out. So she's like, okay, like I want to divorce you. He's like, no, don't divorce me, like please, I swear it's nothing like that, like it's for my job.
It's for my job, yeah.
Yeah, which it's clearly not for your job.
It's not an excuse. It's,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
getting
like,
paid
no,
for
like
this.
please,
I'm
like
actually bringing income.
yeah, he's like, this is how you have the meals on your table. He's like, this is how we have rent. But so she's like, I don't care, divorced. And like through like the divorce, like there was like a custody battle, obviously. And Larry goes up to Talia and is like, hey, like tell the police that your mom's like beating you. Like tell the lawyers like your mom is beating you. Like she's abusive. Like you don't want to be here. Like you want to live with me. Like just tell her that she's like the worst mother on the planet. Like you hate her and she treats you like crap. So she tells the police that, and the police like open an investigation, obviously. And they find out it's not true. And Talia's younger sister like says, well, that's just the lies that daddy tells us to say, like to the police. So obviously he gets in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And he goes to jail. So then he gets out of jail, and then he goes to his ex-wife's house and just starts like beating the crap out of her, like in front of
For
all
snitching, right?
yeah, in front of all her kids, like just like beating her up, like in front of like
Wow.
everybody, just like beating her up.
Wait, so how many kids does he have?
He only has 2.
So 2 daughters? Or?
Yeah, 2 daughters.
Oh damn.
And he's just like beating her up, like in front of her, like in front of his kids,
Yeah.
just like beating her. And again, he goes to jail.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So why does he keep coming out of jail? I don't understand.
I don't understand either.
What
I
is the system whack?
Well, again, you gotta remember he's pretty wealthy,
That's
so
true. That's
he
true.
probably can pay his own bail.
That's very true.
And again, this is like probably like 1990, so laws were a little bit different back then. And again, he was around a lot of powerful people who probably owed him a lot of favors. So he gets out of jail, and then he breaks up with his girlfriend. And no, sorry, his girlfriend breaks up with him.
Oh.
And then he like gets like really mad, and he starts making like a bunch of blogs and stuff, and like a bunch of Facebook accounts, and starts just like hating on her.
Crashes out.
Yeah, like just crashes out. It's like commenting on everything, trying to like ruin her reputation. And to make matters worse, he sends her nudes to her parents.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
really petty.
Yeah.
That's really, really petty.
And whatever, like the girlfriend just like disappears, and then after that, like up until 2010, he was like in and out of jail just for like a bunch of stuff like DUIs and like battery,
So
and like
he
he was just going through it. So in 2010, on his last trip to jail, he calls up Talia, and he's like, hey, like I need a place to stay, like I don't have anywhere to stay. And at this point, she's at college, at Sarah Lawrence College in New York, and she doesn't have a great relationship with her mother. So she's like, okay, like my dad, like he needs me. And again, like Talia loves her father could do nothing wrong in her eyes. So she was like, yeah, like that's fine. So she like goes to her roommate. She's like, hey, like is it okay if my dad like sleeps on the couch for a little bit? Like he just got out of jail. And like this is where like the manipulation really comes in. And a lot of people do believe that it was like essentially Talia's fault that this ended up happening, because every chance like she got, she would like talk about her father. She'd be like, yeah, like my dad was like working for the FBI, like they took him to jail because like he knew the truth about 9/11. Like
So what was the truth about 9/11?
There was no truth. He didn't know nothing. He didn't know anything.
Okay, so he's just bluffing. He's just making up stuff.
Yeah. So he was like, yeah, like they, like he like worked in the CIA, like he worked for the mafia, like he went to Russia, like a bunch of stuff. And he was telling these students like all of this, and he goes and he's like, he goes to the dorm, and like the students are like, okay, like he's only gonna be here for like a week. So he ends up staying for like the rest of the semester. And through that, he begins having these like weird like therapy sessions with the students. And these therapy sessions, he says that he's certified by the CIA to like have these like therapy sessions with the students, and that this is just all in the sense to help them, because coincidentally like all these kids were going through something at around this time. Like they were all struggling with mental health, or they were all struggling with like a breakup or like something. They were just like all like very like, they were like just going through life. They were crashing out, you know, like they were just struggling. So he like takes this chance to like prey on them. And Rachel, she was like his first victim. And she like kind of like cuts off her contact with like her family, and all the students do eventually at some point, but she cuts off like contact with her family. And leading up to Thanksgiving break, her family calls, and it's like, hey, like are you coming over for Thanksgiving? Like we haven't heard much from you. And Larry picks up the phone, and he's like, well, Rachel's not coming home for Thanksgiving, because if she comes home, she's gonna kill herself because you guys raped her. Not true at all.
Okay.
And not true at all.
Yeah.
But her parents were like, oh crap, like we can't have this like happen. Like we don't want her to kill herself. Like if she's like going through something, like we'll just give her space. So she stays home all of Thanksgiving, which ended up like only digging the hole deeper for her. And she eventually became like romantically like entangled with Larry.
Wait, backtrack. So what Are you talking about which woman? Are you talking about?
About Rachel, like the one who lived in the dorm with Talia.
No way. So she started slowly falling in love with.
Not even like falling in love. Like she just like was there to be there, because he was like giving them like these like therapy sessions.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. I see how it goes.
Yeah. So there's like 6 of these students who like end up like going through these like therapy sessions with him. Yeah. Yeah, so they like talk about like God and like religion and like just how to become like better in life and like how you can become better. And he would always like use like the form of like fear to like attack on these students and like the way that they feel. Like he would be like, oh, like Bernard Kirk, like the chief commander of like the New York police, like during 9/11, like he's coming for me because he knows I'm gonna expose him about the truth from 9/11. Like he has cars following me around all the time, and like so like these kids would be like, oh crap, like we don't have much time with him, like we need to take advantage of the time that we have. And he would like pull up like letters that he had from like the FBI and like the pictures that he had like with the powerful people and like when he worked in Wall Street and like from Russia and like the CIA, and be like, this is like true, like you see. And Talia was like the instigator. She'd be like, yeah, you see, like I was not lying, like this is real, like you guys need to like really like take what my dad is saying and like apply it to your life, because like if you won't, like you'd be like at a disadvantage. So like these students would be like, oh, we need to help him. And mind you, this is like their college dorm, okay? And like one time, one of the students, I think it was Daniel, he had like broken something, and he was like, you owe me money for that. That's mine. You owe me money for that. And I mean, Claudia, she was another student. She was, mind you, she was a Harvard and a Columbia graduate. Do you know, that's like, it's mind-blowing to me. It's like, how can you be so intelligent but still fall into like the trap of like manipulation? Like he had to have been such a good manipulator for someone with like such a high IQ to like, Harvard's acceptance rate is like what, like 4%? Like you have to be so good with what you're saying in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
So she breaks some stuff, or like he'll be like, you owe me money, like you owe me money for this, you owe me money for our therapy sessions, you owe me money for this. It was so bad that she went into sex work, and it was $2.3 million in debt
Because of her school.
No, because of what he would be saying about like what Larry Ray would be like, oh, you owe me for this, you owe me for that, you owe me for this.
Yeah.
Even though it was like wasn't true. Like she just genuinely believed it.
Yeah.
And he would like give them drugs. Like he would make them take like, so if you take 24, I'm pretty sure, I think it's 24 or 25 Benadryl, you die.
Okay.
Okay. So
has anyone did that?
What do you mean?
In that group.
Wait.
Okay,
So
we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. So he would give them 23 Benadryls. So it would make them really sleepy, but he would make them stay up for hours while being on the Benadryl.
So, okay, is this like a ritual or?
No, like this was like just like a form of like punishment for them.
Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? And like, Daniel, poor Daniel, he would get like beaten up by like the group. Like,
so Daniel, when does Daniel come in the picture?
So essentially, it's like a group of 6. I like don't remember all of their names. It's like Claudia, Felicia, Santos, Daniel, Talia, and Rachel. Never mind. There. They're the 6. Yeah, they're the 6, and they were like all part of like Talia's friends, and like they all like lived in this like dorm like apartment like on campus.
Yeah.
And yeah, Daniel, he was just like the punching bag of the group. Like they would beat him up, and like they would stick like thumbtacks in him. Like they put him in like a cardboard like Tupperware like kind of like box thing, and they would like kick him around and like beat him up. Yeah. And mind you, all of this was like recorded. Like he would record like everything. So then like when the documentary and stuff came out, like they had like video proof of like everything. Like bro could not escape it.
Yeah.
He could not say he was not guilty because there was like proof of everything that he did. Like everything he did was like captured on camera.
Yeah.
Um and Talia, again, like, imagine like you're like your dad's having like sexual relationships with like all your friends.
Yeah, that's low key weird. I mean, that's high key weird.
What do you mean, Loki?
Super high key.
Yeah. And I mean, like, he would make Santos and Daniel like have sex because he would tell Santos that he was gay even though he wasn't.
Who?
Santos.
Santos?
Yeah,
He's
who-
saying he's gay,
Yeah.
but he's actually straight.
Yeah, and he would make him and Daniel have sex.
What the?
And in front of him.
That's so weird.
Yeah, and then like Claudia and like Rachel and Larry had like this like weird like throuple thing going on.
Like a little thing.
Yeah, like a little thing like in between like the three of them. It's like really weird. And mind you, these are like Rachel's friend, not Rachel.
So
Talia's
what age
friends.
are these kids at?
They're like in between like 19 and like 25 probably. Yeah.
Okay. So I understand why they're getting manipulated, just because maybe they're just getting out in the world.
Yeah.
They're finally trying to see where they belong.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand why they're over here kind of listening to this man,
Mhm.
pretending like, oh yeah, he's my guidance. I need to listen to him because
Yeah.
I don't know who else can help me. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of understand why these group of kids are kind of following Larry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just how Larry makes him feel belonging in a way,
Yeah.
a sense of belonging, which is wicked in a way. But I don't know. Let's continue this story. But that's just how I.
Yeah,
think.
because like my theory is that like because like there's like this like I don't know exactly where like I saw this, where I read this, so like don't quote me, like it might not be real, but it's like that people who have like a higher intelligence always tend to struggle more when they feel like they're belonging, and like they tend to get depressed very easily because they feel like no one understands them. And again, these kids were pretty smart. Like Sarah Lawrence is a private school.
Yeah.
Like this is like a pretty hard school to get into. So I think it was just like essentially just that. It's like these students, like they're going through stuff in their life, they feel like no one understands them, and Larry would play himself to be like this savior. Like he'd be like, I can fix you. Like you, if I do this for you, like you'll never have to worry about anything else ever again.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where like where I was like telling you like last time, like there's like a really blurry line between like religion and just like being like in a cult. Like a lot of people like can't tell like what a cult is because they're so familiar to each other. Like again, you have this savior. Its savior comes in both religion and in cults. You have someone who you want to please, like you want to have them help you. Like you give them, you're a good person. Like for example, like in religion, you're a good person, God rewards you. And like in this case, it's like you're a good person, your leader rewards you.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. Essentially, it's the same thing, just like different font.
Yeah. Just different values, different mission.
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of hard to differentiate one of each, because I mean, a religion, say there is some extremist religion out there that go beyond of like following the Bible, and sometimes it leads them to, I don't know, killing someone, kind of like, have you seen Carrie the movie?
Carrie?
Yeah, Carrie, I think that's how you say it. They even made a book about it, how Carrie like had supernatural powers, and the mother's like very religious, and she believes like heavily on the Bible, and her daughter has these supernatural powers where the mother thinks that she's possessed and all. But like this is a totally different. I'm going off.
No, you're
going off topic. But we can continue that topic another day. But it's kind of similar to that movie if you haven't seen it.
Well, I mean, yeah, like it's strange because it's like you leave like a group like at church or something, and it's like you get told that there's gonna be consequences, but it's like the same thing for a cult. But like if I told you that applied to like the Catholic Church, you'd be like, oh, like, but just like they have like strong commitment, like that's just what it is. But it's like what if I told you the same thing about Charles Manson? You'd be like, oh, okay, then that's like a little bit more culty.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's essentially the same thing. You follow rules to please someone. You give up your life and everything to please someone. You alter your life, you alter the person that you are to please someone in order to get something in return. And just for them, it was just happiness. It was just that feeling of belonging.
Yeah.
And it just ended up terribly wrong.
Yeah. Well, these kids obviously do not have the street smart. They do have the
street
book smart,
smart.
but the street
But
smart
yeah,
is
I
not
mean,
there.
a lot of smart people lack like emotional intelligence and just common sense. And you would think because they're like smart, you'd be like, oh, like they must have like that, like in like emotional intelligence. But it's like they don't. They have so much going through their head at like a time, and like so much to process like at a time, that they can't like even focus on what's going on, which is like insane. Because yeah, like I mean, you'd expect someone who's smart to like have those skill sets.
No, yeah. Would you say you're street smart, or book smart, or
I think a
between?
combination of both. I'm not good at math,
Me neither. So
but like I love English, I love reading, I love writing. If you give me a map, I definitely don't know where I'm going, but I like can remember like where I'm going if I've already been there once. Like, does that make sense?
yeah. Get you. But,
Yeah.
we're going off topic. Yeah, sorry. Let's get back on topic.
Yeah. So essentially how he gets caught is because Daniel escapes. He's like, oh, like, this, like, I'm leaving. Like, this is like, he was just like, I don't like this. Like, I need to go home. Like, I need to be with my family. Like, I don't like this. Like, I want to leave. So he escapes, and he eventually ends up like telling the police what happens. And Daniel's testimony was so powerful. It like essentially is what got Larry to be in jail, because his testament was just so powerful. I mean, there was like so much emotion, and like he described everything in like perfect detail, and everything he said, you were like, wow. Like you wouldn't like, how would you expect someone to even like who went through that like survive, you know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, he like wrote like a book, like not a book, like a memoir
Yeah,
about it,
right?
yeah, about it. And I mean, like it's amazing, like just the way that he can put it like into words. And I mean, like,
wait, so you read the memoir?
I read like a page of it for when I was doing like my research project.
How long is it?
I have no idea. I just like looked at it like on like when I was like looking it up, like I just like clicked on images.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like it was like a page of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was really powerful. And I mean, that's essentially what got him caught. And Daniel's whole focus has been trying to help like people who have gone through like things like this. And
so Daniel is still alive. So out of the whole group, who's still alive?
They're all still alive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everyone's still alive
Except for Larry.
No, Larry's alive. He's just in prison.
Oh, he's rotting in or prison.
Yeah, he's rotting in jail how he
Good,
should
good.
be.
Very good.
Yeah. And I mean, like, a lot of these kids are still in debt. Like, they're not kids anymore. They're probably like grown adults, but like they're still in debt.
Probably.
Yeah.
'Cause
This was
what
like
year?
2010.
Yeah, they're probably 30.
Yeah, they're probably like 40.
40.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's definitely a crazy story.
Yeah, and then they all struggle with PTSD. Talia has like completely disappeared off the planet, which is like valid. I mean, like if your dad like was like in a weird like sex cult, like and he was like the leader of it, like I'd probably want to disappear too. And
this whole cult started at this university. So first off, how did this university not know anything about this whole cult? And how did Larry move in? Isn't there like there's restrictions?
Well, because it was like an apartment on campus.
So it wasn't really part of the school.
Yeah, but it was
like a separate thing.
Yeah, but it was like an apartment on campus. But it's just like it's still on campus. Like, how are you there?
Yeah.
And like no one said anything. Again, because she would talk so highly about her dad. Like any chance she got, she'd talk about her dad.
Yeah.
Like any chance she'd got, she'd be like, my dad this, my dad that. So it's like people like they believed like he was like this amazing person. This like he was like such a great person.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he had
know.
like they wrongly convicted him, even though he had like a track record like going to jail.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's really insane to think about that this actually happened.
And you want to know what's even crazier?
What?
Some of the like students, like I think it's Rachel, she like doesn't believe that he did anything wrong.
Rachel is
like the first one.
Oh,
yeah.
the one that fell in love. Or I guess
yeah. Yeah.
Harry.
Yeah, she like doesn't believe he did anything wrong.
Yeah, she's
well, imagine like the manipulation must have been like that good.
Yeah, huh?
That like she doesn't like to this day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess she's gonna remain crazy.
Yeah, with like that's real. Like that happens to people. Like they just like remain like messed up from stuff like that because it's a lot on your brain. It's just like essentially brainwashing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, do you think once you're brainwashed, can you like
unbrainwashed again? Unbrainwashed or brainwashed?
Because I mean, what's her name? The daughter?
Talia.
Mm-hmm. She was brainwashed, obviously, but after the whole cult went down and everyone was in prison, have you read about how Talia's like? She's
disappeared. She's like nowhere to be found.
Oh, so she doesn't have any Facebook.
No, like she doesn't have like no Instagram, like no like nothing. She's not present on social media. She's just like completely vanished.
Very eerie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like imagine like your dad gets caught like doing some weird sex cult with all your friends and you were just a bystander.
Yeah. You're like everybody's gonna know you for that.
Yeah, for like the rest of your life.
Wait, they made a documentary about it.
Yeah, on Hulu.
Yeah. What's the documentary name?
It's the stolen youth and something, the Sarah Lawrence cult, and it's on Hulu and it's like 3 episodes, but they're like really good.
Yeah, maybe
I'm like, Hulu sponsor us.
Well, maybe during the video we'll put it on the link for you guys to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know, some YouTube references. You
guys
want to learn more?
But like trigger warning because it's like harsh.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, like trigger warning.
Video we'll put like
the viewer discretion is advised. Yeah, because I mean, yeah.
So, but yeah, is there an ending to this story?
Rachel got arrested in 2022 for laundering and racketeering.
So Rachel continued doing her
due to like connected to this, because again he would be like, you owe me money, so like she like laundered, she like basically made fake money.
Is there any ending in other characters like Daniel,
he's a very big advocate for like people who have gone to this. Santos, he's struggled a lot with PTSD. Like all of them have the same thing in common, which obviously valid. They've all been struggling to like rebuild their life after this.
Yeah.
Like, and they all have struggled with PTSD and like they all have some sort of debt. It's just really sad. That's like just like the end. But like he's in jail. So.
Who's in jail?
Larry.
Oh.
Yeah. Larry's in jail.
Larry is happily in jail.
Where he belongs. Yeah.
Awesome.
Where he should have been.
Oh yeah. We are 34 minutes in. Do you have anything else to say?
Don't join a cult. Like,
yes. Do not join a cult.
Yeah, don't believe everything an adult tells you.
Be careful who you talk to.
Careful who you trust. Don't let your dad sleep on your couch in a college dorm.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome. Would you like to close this out?
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
And yes, this will be Leslie's main show now.
Yep.
She's in charge of it, so she will have more stories to come. We're probably gonna film once a week and release it once a week, depending on how busy we get.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome first episode. Hope you guys like it and
enjoy. Thanks.
Cool. Bye.